Welcome back to the Vitality 50 Plus podcast, where we tackle the real health challenges facing men in their prime years. I'm James, and I'm here with our resident medical expert, Dr. Jennifer. Today, we're diving into something I know our listeners are struggling with, that feeling of running out of steam by 2 p.m. or finding yourself winded after climbing a flight of stairs. Dr. Jennifer, let's talk about stamina and energy after 50.
Absolutely, James. I see this in my practice every single day. Men come in saying, "Doc, I used to be able to work 12-hour days, hit the gym, and still have energy for my family. Now I'm exhausted just thinking about it." The good news? This isn't just about getting older. There's real science behind why this happens, and, more importantly, what we can do about it.
So, what's actually happening in our bodies? Is this just the inevitable march of time?
Well, James, it's more complex than that. After 50, several biological changes occur simultaneously. First, testosterone levels naturally decline by about 1 to 2% per year after age 30, but this becomes more noticeable in our 50s. This affects everything from muscle mass to motivation. Additionally, our mitochondria, think of them as the powerhouses of our cells, become less efficient at producing energy.
So it's not just in our heads. But here's what I'm curious about. You mentioned testosterone. How much does that really impact our daily energy?
That's a great question. Low testosterone doesn't just affect libido, which is what most men think about. It impacts energy production, muscle maintenance, sleep quality, and even cognitive function. I've had patients tell me they feel like they're living in a fog. That's often related to hormonal imbalance combined with other factors we'll discuss.
What are some of the sneaky things that might be stealing our energy that we don't even realize?
Excellent point, James. One of the biggest culprits I see is chronic inflammation. This can come from carrying excess weight around the midsection, what we call visceral fat. It's particularly common in men over 50 and acts like a metabolic drain, constantly requiring energy to manage the inflammatory response.
That makes sense. What about sleep? I know I don't sleep like I did in my 30s.
Sleep architecture changes significantly after 50. Men often develop sleep apnea, which can go undiagnosed for years. You're literally not getting enough oxygen at night, so of course you wake up tired. Plus, declining testosterone affects sleep quality, creating a vicious cycle. Poor sleep lowers testosterone, which makes sleep worse.
It's like everything's connected, isn't it?
Exactly. That's why we need a comprehensive approach, not just quick fixes.
All right, Dr. Jennifer, let's get practical. What's the roadmap for getting our energy back?
Let me break this down into what I call the energy pillars for men over 50. First pillar, strategic nutrition. We're not talking about restrictive diets, but fuel optimization.
What does that look like practically?
Think protein at every meal. Aim for 25-30 grams. This supports muscle maintenance and keeps blood sugar stable. I tell my patients to include foods like wild-caught salmon, which provides omega-3s for brain health and hormone production, grass-fed beef for B vitamins and iron, and here's something interesting. Dark chocolate with at least 70% cacao can actually improve blood flow and energy.
I like where this is going. What about those afternoon energy crashes?
The 3 p.m. slump. This often comes from blood sugar roller coasters. Instead of reaching for coffee and a donut, try what I call the power trio. A handful of almonds, some berries, and Greek yogurt. The protein and healthy fats provide sustained energy without the crash.
Now, exercise is tricky for our audience because many guys are thinking, I'm tired already. How can exercise give me more energy?
I get this pushback all the time, James, but here's the paradox. You have to spend energy to make energy. The key is starting smart. For men over 50, I recommend what I call metabolic conditioning rather than just traditional cardio.
Can you explain that a bit more?
Absolutely. Think compound movements that work multiple muscle groups, things like farmer's walks, which improve grip strength, core stability, and cardiovascular health all at once. Or body weight squats progressing to goblet squats. These movements stimulate testosterone production naturally and improve insulin sensitivity, which directly impacts energy levels.
What about timing? When should we exercise for maximum energy benefit?
Great question. Morning exercise, even just 15-20 minutes, can boost energy for 8-12 hours. It's like jump-starting your metabolic engine. But if mornings don't work, consistency matters more than timing. Just avoid intense exercise within 3 hours of bedtime, as it can interfere with sleep quality.
Let's talk about stress. I think this is huge for our demographic. We're often dealing with aging parents, teenage or young adult kids, career pressures.
You've hit on something crucial, James. Chronic stress is probably the #1 energy thief I see in men over 50. When we're constantly in fight or flight mode, our adrenal glands are pumping out cortisol, which actually blocks testosterone production and disrupts sleep.
So, what's the antidote?
This might sound too simple, but breathing exercises work incredibly well. I teach my patients the 4-7-8 technique. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 7, exhale for 8. Do this for just 2 minutes when you feel stressed, and it activates your parasympathetic nervous system, literally switching off the stress response.
That's something anyone can do anywhere. What about bigger lifestyle changes?
Well, boundaries are crucial. Many men in their 50s are people pleasers who've never learned to say no. Every yes to one thing is a no to your energy and health. I often work with patients on schedule auditing, looking at where their time and energy actually go versus where they want them to go.
Let's dive deeper into sleep, since you mentioned it earlier. What should men over 50 know about optimizing their sleep for energy?
Sleep is when the magic happens. Testosterone production peaks during deep sleep, growth hormone is released for muscle repair, and your brain literally cleans itself of metabolic waste. First step is sleep hygiene. I tell patients to think of their bedroom as a recovery sanctuary, cool, dark, and quiet.
What about supplements? I know melatonin is popular.
Melatonin can help, but timing and dosage matter. Most people take too much. 0.5 to 1 milligram is often more effective than the 3-5 milligram doses you see in stores. Take it 2-3 hours before desired sleep time. But I'm more interested in natural melatonin production, exposure to bright light in the morning and dimming lights in the evening.
Any other sleep tips specifically for our age group?
Yes, watch the alcohol. I know many men use alcohol to unwind, but it's devastating for sleep quality after 50. It might help you fall asleep, but it fragments your sleep cycles and suppresses REM sleep, which is crucial for mental energy and cognitive function.
Dr. Jennifer, let's address the elephant in the room, testosterone replacement therapy. Is that the answer for energy issues?
TRT can be life-changing for men with clinically low testosterone, but it's not the first line of defense. Before considering hormone replacement, I look at natural optimization. Vitamin D deficiency, which affects about 80% of men over 50, can significantly impact testosterone. Zinc deficiency is another common issue.
What about specific foods or supplements?
Pomegranate juice has been shown to increase testosterone by up to 24% in some studies. Ashwagandha, an adaptogenic herb, can reduce cortisol and support healthy testosterone levels. And here's something interesting. Intermittent fasting, done properly, can actually boost growth hormone production naturally.
That's fascinating. Any precautions with intermittent fasting for our audience?
Absolutely. Men over 50, especially those on medications or with health conditions, should consult their doctor first. Start slowly, maybe a 12-hour eating window, and gradually progress. And never sacrifice sleep quality for fasting. If fasting interferes with sleep, modify the approach.
All right, Dr. Jennifer, our listeners are probably thinking, this all sounds great, but where do I start? What's your recommendation for someone who's feeling overwhelmed?
Start with what I call the 1% protocol. Choose one small change that represents just 1% improvement. Maybe it's adding a 10-minute walk after dinner, or switching from coffee with cream and sugar to black coffee with a dash of cinnamon. Master that for 2 weeks, then add the next 1%.
I love that approach. Any specific sequence you recommend?
Week 1, 2, focus on sleep consistency, same bedtime and wake time, even on weekends. Week 3, 4, add 15 minutes of movement daily. Week 5, 6, optimize your first meal of the day with protein and healthy fats. This sequence builds a foundation where each step supports the next.
Before we wrap up, what are the red flags that suggest someone needs medical evaluation rather than just lifestyle changes?
Excellent question, James. If you're experiencing persistent fatigue despite adequate sleep, unexplained weight loss or gain, depression or mood changes, or if lifestyle interventions haven't helped after 2-3 months, it's time for comprehensive testing. This might include thyroid function, complete metabolic panel, vitamin levels, and yes, hormone testing.
Any other warning signs?
Shortness of breath during normal activities, chest pain, or extreme fatigue that interferes with daily function. These require immediate medical attention. Don't assume everything is just age-related.
Dr. Jennifer, as we wrap up, what's your message of hope for men who feel like their best energetic days are behind them?
James, I've seen 75-year-old men completely transform their energy levels and vitality. The key is understanding that aging doesn't have to mean declining. Your body in your 50s, 60s, and beyond can actually be stronger and more resilient than in your 30s if you give it what it needs. It's not about turning back the clock, it's about optimizing the time you have.
That's beautiful. And I think what I love about everything we've discussed today is that it's not about quick fixes or magic pills. It's about sustainable changes that honor where we are in life.
Exactly. Small, consistent actions compound over time. 6 months from now, you can either be 6 months older with the same energy problems, or 6 months older with renewed vitality and enthusiasm for life.
Listeners, remember, this information is for educational purposes and doesn't replace professional medical advice. Always consult with your healthcare provider before making significant changes to your health routine. Thanks for joining us on the Vitality 50 Plus podcast. If today's episode resonated with you, please subscribe and share it with other men who might benefit from this information. Dr. Jennifer, thank you as always for your expertise and practical wisdom.
My pleasure, James. Here's to helping men reclaim their vitality and live their most energetic lives after 50.
Until next time, remember, your best years are ahead of you, not behind you.
This podcast is for informational purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. Always consult with qualified healthcare professionals before making changes to your health regimen, especially if you have existing medical conditions or take medications.